basically pay par for the 10%, but
Mhm.
discount the 2% a lot. So when you say, well, what percent of the UPB do you buy at? Well, one loan I may be at 40, and the other one I may be at 100 almost.
Right.
Right. I
Right.
don't bid 100, but it's close to it, simply because of what the interest rate is and the term of the loan. Guys,
Right.
remember, there's always 5 equations into a loan. And Marco knows this real well. You have your PV, your interest rate, all those numbers, your payments, your term, your balloon, all go into your decision if you're going to make an asset purchase or not.
Yeah.
You can't make a purchase based on a percentage. I know it's a quick, easy formula, but a 3% loan equates to a 3% return, right? If you're trying to get a 3% return loan up to a 10, you have to discount it so much to make that monthly payment equate to what your purchase price is, equal a 10% return.
Yeah.
Versus something's already priced at 10, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah. So it's not a matter of percentage of UPB. It's a matter of work the numbers in your calculator, make sure you understand what you're going to get. Because
Yeah. If the seller wants a percentage, then calculate the percentage later.
Sure.
I'm going to bid 20 grand on $100,000. Okay, you want 20%, right? But if it's a 1% loan, you may only be able to bid 20% because you're trying to get it up to 12, right? Just don't make that offer then, obviously. But if the seller wants, I want percentages, then give them percentages. Most sellers want a number, and they'll calculate themselves, but if they're sophisticated or not, they understand that the yield is what really matters. And remember, yield is a annual return until maturity date. It's a bond number,
right?
And that's simply what you calculate your loan at.
Yeah.
So,
but learn how to do the calculation, because you can't it's not just a simple percentage of. You got to learn the calculation. You got to learn how to put that into calculator, spreadsheet, whatever you use.
Yep.
Learn it.
And if you guys don't understand this, right? Totally understand it. When we got into the space, believe me and Nathan talking about during our last week, I didn't understand a lot of the stuff until years into it.
Yeah.
Because at the time we can screw up a lot and be okay. You can screw up now.
Yeah. I had never heard of a financial calculator when I first got started. I had no idea what that was. I learned the scientific in high school for all the good that's done me in my life. But absolutely. But I've learned it as I've gone, and I'm pretty proficient at it now. I don't know that I would call myself an expert, but I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
And you have to know it.
Absolutely. So with that said, I think that most people, if you guys are really interested in learning about this, you can definitely take a look. We have our 5-week course. We're in the middle of week 4. There's homework and stuff like that associated with it. And the members will actually come on and tell you guys about it. We're going to restart it back up in probably January. So stay tuned with that. That's an intense course though. So for those who really understand the basics of note investing to a point and really want to get the next level, we'll be reoffering that. And it's a community. It's not just us gurus. It's a community kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. We encourage participation. Like throw in your background and expertise. And
we have one gentleman in the group that we're learning from as much as he learned from us. I mean, shout out to him, right? Yeah. He's been awesome. One guy said, I'm using a calculator that can adjust the discount of a UPB based on yield I would like to receive. Fine, right? Sure. Yes. If you want to do it that way, you're really basing on your payment per month. Yeah. Right. Your payment per month tells you your return. Subtract your servicing fee. This is how much money I'm going to get for the next 150 payments. Yeah. Right. What is your return annually? I want this return a year. And when I take that number, I say, okay, then if I want this return a year, I want to make this offer to get that return. Right. Get your return. And then you can divide it by the UPB and be at 68, whatever it is, but you need to make sure that's available. So it makes sense, everyone? Hopefully it does. So
do we want to talk about seller finance? What do we want to say?
Yeah. So for those who are not familiar with it, so I'm just making sure everything's good on LinkedIn as well.
Sure. Yeah.
So for those who are not familiar with seller finance and owner finance, if you've created a note in owner finance world, you guys have a basic understanding of what that means. What we're finding out recently, and I know Marco probably jumping here too, is that they have a struggle to understand how to sell that paper. Yeah.
And
we've
it
gotten
begins a lot with setting it up. From what we've kind of heard and people we've talked to, it seems like they're just kind of pulling terms out of nowhere and without an understanding of what that means down the road. So we're hoping to be able to help.
We're gonna help you guys out, right? So those who are listening in on this thing, we've already spoken to a lot of owner finance people, and the idea is to help them be able to sell their note. There's a lot of people out there who've created notes successfully, have never sold a note, and come to me. I've literally had an email tell me what kind of fridge they put in the rehab.
Yeah.
Because that's what they thought I needed, or credit score of the borrower. Now, granted, if you're buying seconds, credit scores matter, but in my world, I don't care.
Right.
If it's written correctly, that paper's good, and RMLO approved it, and owner finance, then I'm interested.
Yeah.
I could buy a partial, I could buy a whole thing, but there's things you need to present to Nathan and I as note buyers that you need to have accountability.
Yeah. So we're it's become kind of a new focus, a new thing for us. We're out there, we're trying to help these seller finance people understand how to create good notes to be able to sell down in the future. Even if you have no intention of selling, why not set it up just in case?
Yes.
You don't know what's going to happen a year, 2 years from now. Maybe there's a situation where you think, oh, I've got all this money tied up in this seller finance note, this house that I own. What if I could get money out of it? Yes, you absolutely can. Let's help you write that note properly.
And there's some do's and don'ts after you actually originate the note, right? We run to a few people who are treating it like a rental.
Yeah.
Because they know rentals, and having a rental doesn't actually do a good job because it doesn't track anything. You ask them for the unpaid balance at that time, they have no clue we're talking about, which is shocking.
They have a ledger of payments as if it was a rental, but it's not a rental. And it seems to be a kind of a misunderstanding of what they've created and how to account for it as time goes on. Principal and interest, not.
And Marco just said that institutional buyers pull credit when underwriting all seller finance paper. Yes, right. RMLOs are out there. We had it in a conversation with called underwriter Max about 1.5 years ago, and he can write paper. You can find a local RMLO, and then once you write that paper correctly, they're pulling all that data for you, right? For $700, they can do all the paperwork for you and get it all squared away and get you Dodd-Frank compliant. There's a lot of things that go into Dodd-Frank, if it's owner occupied, all parameters that go to fit in there. We'll probably bring on Max again. He may actually either probably join us for December 2nd, where our next webinar will be December 2nd. And we're going to be doing this. We'll be having some people who've created notes, who've never sold, to walk them through that process to understand the why and the what on note investing. And when they create that note, what do they need to be able to sell it? Why do they need it? Right. And it's not only the note itself, but it's also after they own the note, servicing, why it's important. Mostly people are probably performing notes and they're like, don't need anything. However, when you go to sell that, I can't prove it. When you've collected $775 on a $750 note and you have no clue what the unpaid balance is because you've been just collecting it.
Yeah.
So it's hard.